previously on Saving Throw. Our heroes took the fight to Arlay to try to bring down both her and the dream.
I'm starting to regret my plant growth. I really shouldn't have cast that, huh?
No.
Hey, it's gonna pay off in her 7th phase. Finally breaking free like the hit film High School Musical, Chiron manages to escape the dream. But when Chiron gets his hands on Arlay's crystal seed, he finds himself unable to break it.
Yeah.
In a moment, you realize that you are now holding on to this woman. Your arms are effectively wrapped around her. And this feels peaceful. The rest of the party, you see that Chiron is just standing there, and as far as you can see, he is just holding on to Arlay's crystal.
Shit.
Luckily for our heroes, Marin arrives to the graveyard just in time and takes the crystal from Chiron.
And there's a long pause, and Marin goes, "Who wouldn't say that?" And with that, she presses her hands together, and the crystal between her palms shatters. And so does the dream.
That's fucking cool.
The dream finally collapsed and the town of Stay was saved. The heroes celebrated with the townsfolk and prepared to return home, but not before they noticed.
And she pauses, still looking up at the sky. It's gone. She notes plainly a tinge of confusion to her work. Arlay's star
is gone.
Arlay's star is gone. Yeah.
And now we take a little intermission in Saving Throw.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Saving Throw, our Actual Play D&D podcast right here on Save Data. I'm Chris. I'll be Dungeon Master, and I will be King of the Pirates, Yi-O-E-I-O. I'm joined by our lovely party. Believe it. Wait, wrong thing. Zach playing Alistair Nobledrifter.
Dreamin', don't give it up, Alistair.
Elise as Win, hashtag stay winning.
Dreamin', don't give it up, win.
God damn it.
I was gonna do that joke before Zach did,
Yes,
okay?
please, keep it going.
Prij playing the role of Ashbal Redmarance.
Dreamin', Ashbard gave it up.
No! Oh, no!
Can't give it up, give it, no!
David as Jun Many Shields.
The One Piece is real.
And we have Jason playing Chiron Hemlock.
Dreamin', I didn't give up the dream.
Oh shit, the dream's back.
Whoa!
Arlay hates it. If you like the show,
Yeah, why don't we just play that song during the entire arc?
it would have
Dreamin', don't give it up, Arlay, Dreamin'.
She would have been like, you got a good point. The One Piece is real. Here you go. If you like the show, you can catch it live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SaveDataTeam, or catch the edited version on our YouTube channel. If you don't like this show, look, I don't know, man. What do you want me to do about it? You can catch the edited version of this podcast on our YouTube channel. And finally, if you want to go the absolute extra mile, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/SaveDataTeam. For $2 a month, you get access to our VOD channel where you can watch all of our streams unedited forever. For $5 a month, you get to vote on what we do for our variety streams, and you get to be included in this D&D campaign as an NPC. We're going to meet quite a few of those today because we didn't meet them last time. And lastly, at the $10 a month tier, you get your name included in the following Patreon song.
Thank 'em, gotta thank 'em all. Gotta thank 'em all, our Patreons. Burger Bun, Mr. Cola Bun, Andy Cosmo, Dave Hall, Lucha, and Sofino. HSM, Ernless, Crow Knight, Danny, Antilester, Kevin Nation, Shadowed Navi. Witch Tower, Sky Hurlock, Hyde, Self Aria, Arky, Forensic, Becknick, Cole, JFJ, Mystic, Woody. Leprechaun, Jacob L, Go, Zeppeli, Sheber, Steen, Ryger, Real Jolie, Baron Esper, BBC, What, and Sherlock's Zoom, Stillart, Ami, Borshock, Shrimari, A1, Narwhal, Shiny, Catu, P, Diego Garcia, Night Boomer, Emily. Mega Zero, Big Curbo, Who Needs to Sleep, Alea, Yakta, Estever, Entropy, Daedric and Seraphina, Lumgar, Chrissy, and Tasty Marbar. Dessert Boy Man, Elijah Sly, Rick Rat, Katja, Traveling in a Box, and Snowcat, Conjuring Scribes, Yo Croissant, Fulfilla, Written Word, Shade the Punisher, Sevilla. Thank 'em, gotta thank 'em all. Gotta thank 'em all, our Patreon.
And one more thank you to people that make this show happen, including Will and Karen from Stuff Pixel for the Save and Throw logos, Nez for the character art, CZE Peku for our battle maps, Bartified Epidemic Sound for the music you're currently hearing, and you for being the best and coolest and strongest.
Wow.
Now, let's get back to it. And by it, I mean Dungeons and Dragons, and by D&D, I mean last time here on Saving Throw, you did the thing. You beat the big bad guy. You stopped Arle and the dream. You saved the world again. You talked about stuff with Marin, and we sort of, ended coming back here to the guild to say how do you do and have our, we did it time. Last I left, basically Vessler was saying, so how did it go? And I don't want to make us do like the whole repeat what happened thing.
Yep.
So I'm going to say that we do that because we have done that. And especially because we already talked to, Marin about it last time. So yeah, so you guys talk about this. You guys talk about killing the big tree and all that stuff. And eventually Marin kind of interjects, oh, all right, that's enough for now. We can do all this shit later. It's a lot to go over. But right now, I'm going the fuck home. Everyone, take a fucking break. That's an order. Marin speaks while moving past Vessler and towards her desk to get her things. Oh, and you guys. She pauses, sort of gesturing to you. Never mind. Good job, she says before stepping past you and out of the office.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Vessler almost about to call after her, but as the door's closing, he stops and just goes, okay. Oh, I have art.
You do have art. Yeah.
Oh, it's the whole trio.
It's so cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, adjusted for size.
I love Jason playing Willy Wonka. It's so good.
He literally is. I was about to say it's Jason.
Fuck Timothy Chalamet, you fucking genius.
I mean, look, we've talked about it, but Jason would be better cast in that role than Timothy Chalamet. It's a really bad.
I mean, listen, Jason would love to have a chocolate river. Is all I'm trying to say.
Don't say it like that. Don't phrase it like that.
Augustus. Vessler opens his mouth to call after Marin as she's leaving, but as the door closes, he just kind of stops and sighs. Yes, let's just wait. Not as if we waited all night here or anything like that. Okay, all right. Please do come back tomorrow and we'll properly debrief you on all this. Well done, I guess. I wasn't there, but Marin seems proud, so good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a trek. To say the least.
You want us
Technically,
to
we didn't really go anywhere once we were there.
Yeah, so it's worth noting that you guys basically were gone for a day.
Best night of
I was gonna
sleep.
say, we actually haven't been gone for that long, have we?
Best night of sleep I've ever had.
Anyway, I guess despite that, take some time off. Look, she's technically in charge here. I'll speak to the bursar and get you all paid and all that, and we'll have the reliquary make more items available for you.
Hell yeah.
Does this get put in some kind of report that we did this and we get the credit for it?
Oh yes, of course. We keep a track of every completed mission, even the non-completed missions, and they're all logged and according. And of course, should your time here come to an end, either of your own choice or not so much, your contributions basically will be logged in the Hall of Heroes, like everyone else.
Nice.
Cool.
Now, we don't need to. Yeah, this is going to be our little intermission break. But, in the interest of time, I sort of have split this up a little differently. So, we have 2 sections and a bunch of things to do. First section is the level up stuff. Our level ups, new items, shopping, and then the other section is I have a little bit prepared for each of you.
Ooh.
Sort of what happens, what you do during the intermission. Look, a lot of it's going to be I fucking did my laundry and went to the fucking store. I don't care about that. This is the important, interesting thing that your character did during each intermission.
Don't downplay the importance of laundry.
I was gonna say, man, I gotta make sure I have
That's true.
clothes.
This shirt
Gotta get
washed yesterday.
Gotta fold these undies.
MeUndies, you want to sponsor us? Come on.
MeUndies, the official underwear of Saving Throw. And then we have the obvious going out on the next mission part.
Uh-huh.
So that one has to come last, obviously.
Will we get to all of them today? I don't know.
Yes.
He said.
If we don't,
confidently.
I'll be flabbergasted. So I think it makes more sense to do your individual bits and then do the level up and the items and the stuff.
Sure.
We don't necessarily have to do that, though. What do y'all want to do?
I definitely want to do my bit before the level up.
Your bit has to happen for the level up. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, no, let's do that.
I'm fine doing bits.
Nothing happened for my level up, so like I'm good with whatever.
Yeah, my level up is very boring, so yeah, I mean, we can do bits.
Well then, who wants to go first?
If no one wants to volunteer, I'll go first.
I can go first. That's fine.
Let's do Chandra first.
Chandra.
Chandra, then me.
Appropriate that the tank goes first, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're always.
Let's do this in AC order.
As I say, you're always first in initiative, John Bear. So this tracks.
If we're going in AC order, it's weird. Jonathan goes first, second, and fourth. Let me switch this really fast. That'll make sense. Great. John, with your downtime, you return to the blacksmith district and the shop owned by Landgrim, the Minotaur blacksmith you met last time. While last time you met him outside working at one of like the open forges of the Blacksmith's Guild, this time you enter his shop. A rather old wooden building with a hanging sign that reads Landgrim's, painted in a nice but like very old and like worn paint script. You enter the establishment through a door that honestly seems probably too small for a Minotaur to comfortably fit through, and a bell like jingles above your head as you're greeted by the interior of the shop that is lined with cabinets and stands and displays of all sorts of like, you know, blacksmithed items. It's clear just by like quantity that while Langer makes a large variety of items, he specializes in very fine jewelry, lots of like circlets, tiaras, some bracelets, necklaces, stuff like that. After the sound of the bell and a few moments, from the back of the store, the owner himself emerges. The large Minotaur smith, Langrim. Welcome to... Oh, it's you. Well,
Don't sound so enthusiastic.
All right, come on back. Let's get started. He hardly even makes his way fully into the front of the shop before turning and heading into the back room. And following him back, you see his workshop of a sort. A loose assortment of like benches and tools. And he pulls up a stool to one of the benches and grabs another one for himself, pulling a piece of parchment and a coal like stylus, and he sets them on the bench. Dry fire rune. And then he steps away, collecting like a kettle of fire, a kettle from the fire, and pouring some tea.
Yeah, I can do that.
You draw your rune. Isn't that's Giant's language, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. It's just not the most common or useful. He mentions as you like inscribe the rune, and then he taps a finger on the paper. And like how runes work, like how the ones on your shield or whatever the fuck work, he brings it to life, and it quickly alights, burning up the paper, basically using the paper and the rune as fuel. Anyone can draw a rune. Like even a kid doesn't know what they're doing can scribble one by accident. From sight, learning, whatever. What makes it all different is that touch, the ability to make the rune work. That takes knowledge, training, and magic. But in the grand scheme of it all, it's not like too much to ask. A bit of talent and magic, and the runes do the rest. It's taken, a really long time to make the runes work like that, to work every time, to be useful, and to let anyone use them. But in that ease, we lose something simple. We lose the pure, unbridled strength of our runes, Jumper. I work with an older kind of rune. It's different and it's not easier, but I like to think that it's worth it. He looks around and reaches over to grab a hammer off like the rack of tools, a rather complex rune inscribed on the face of that tool. Breathing magic into a rune is one thing, but what about runes that work on their own? Runes that even a non-magic user can bring to life? That's That's what I work with. And he swings the hammer down, gently tapping on a cracked piece of jewelry that rests on his workbench. And as the hammer dings against it, little threads of magic pull out of the hammer, and you see that crack begins to seal and fix just the tiniest bit. He pulls another piece of parchment and takes the coal from you, inscribing a rune on it. One that looks somewhat similar to your fire rune, but it's simultaneously incomplete and too complicated. Like, it's missing elements of how you draw the rune, but it also has additional parts that not only don't fit, but don't make sense. There's some stone in that crate by your feet. He gestures while looking over the selection of tools and like plucking a chisel off the wall and setting it before you. Try that. Imagine it's like with every time you hit the chisel, you're trying to make the rune go, but gently. Like you're pushing magic into the stone.
Okay.
I'm assuming you try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you pick up one of the rocks out of the crate and then the chisel, and almost instantly as you connect chisel to stone and try to impart the smallest bit of magic into it, the cheap stone cracks and basically splits into several pieces. Yeah, that. But again, slower and better. Now
Less breaky. I get it. Yeah.
Can I have a mix check, performance, and arcana?
Can I have like expertise in smithing tools. Will that help me out in this at all?
Yeah, I'll say you can use that for your performance roll effectively.
If I'm using my tools, I think I also get proficiency too, so
That's fine.
And let's see. So that's 1, 4, 18. I'm assuming I don't get the tool bonus for the arcana.
No, you don't know how to do this yet.
Yeah, I also don't know how to do arcana. Never mind, I rolled a 19. That's an 18 total because I have -1 in that.
So 36 combining them.
Yeah.
Okay. You spend longer than you probably care to admit to other people in order to learn how to press magic into the stone. You break a lot of rocks and end up having to write that rune onto some of like the larger broken pieces. But finally, you manage to do it using Langram's rather odd method of rune work. And he looks at you and says, okay, that looks actually pretty good. Now, don't use any magic and touch that.
I can do that.
So normally when you activate a rune, when you tap a rune on your shield to make it go, the cloud rune or whatever, you basically have the rune written there, and then you are pushing magic into the shape of that rune, which then causes it to do a certain thing. This is how runic languages work as far as like, conjuring magic. This time you don't do that. You just tap it. No magic, no nothing. And it breathes into life. And when it does that, fire bursts out of the rune, destroying the stone in the process, but it makes, what you would call regularly a fireball, and something that is a lot like more projectile-y than what you normally summon for a fire rune. And
yeah, it's usually chains. So yeah, that's different. That's new.
And Langram like lurches back, seeing how it bolts up into the sky, and then extends his hand, which glows, and the fire sizzles out. He goes, "Oh, okay, that was more than I. Damn, good job, Junver. You have learned the old fire rune. When you hit a creature with an item inscribed with this rune, you can invoke it to summon the strength of primordial fire. Using this rune consumes a regular use of the fire rune, so you can't use both. The creature hit takes an extra 2d10 fire damage, and you and that creature are bound to one another.
Oh.
While bound to each other, you have advantage on all attacks and strength checks against that creature. and deal 2d8 bonus damage on all successful attacks made against the creature.
Oh man.
That's so busted.
nice.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking strong, man.
You take 1d8 fire damage on any failed attacks or strength checks. When one of the two creatures moves out of hand-to-hand combat range, the fire rune's bond is broken, and the bond breaker takes 2d10 fire damage.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's fucking right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's fucking
Yeah,
right.
that's a good boost.
Chris, when I used that the first time, can you edit in the knife edge deathmatch from Yu Yu Hakusho, please? In there?
That's really good.
Yes, I can.
Instead of knives in the ground, it's just like fire blades.
It's also worth note that while like your current rune takes a strength check to break, this does not. This just takes someone leaving the area.
That's cool.
Does it take a strength check to bind them like my current one does too?
Does not. You just have to have succeeded on an attack.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
By the time you leave Langram's, it's now late, and you are quite aware you missed lunch, and it's also well into dinner time at this point. And we will come back to Junvera in a little bit.
Yeah.
I believe Wynn wanted to go next.
I think so, yeah.
Great, because Wynn's the next person on my list here.
Awesome.
Wynn,
Yeah.
you mentioned to me in DMs there was something you wanted to do with your downtime.
There was. Yeah, so you mentioned in the last episode that, Marin mentioned, actually, that Arle's star was gone. And I want to go see Marin and talk to her about that, because, look, I want to study the stars, and a star disappearing is a pretty fucking big deal.
Especially the star of like the world's most powerful druid too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it feels like it would be relevant to your character somehow. Maybe.
Maybe. That's a stretch.
So let's say with one of your days off, you make your way down to the offices of the guild, the same place you get your missions, your money, etc.
Yeah.
And you approach the sort of main receptionist of the guild. He instantly speaks up. Lord Vestor's out for the afternoon. Sorry, adventurer.
Actually, I wanted to speak to Marin, if that's okay.
You mentioned seeing Marin. He looks up from whatever he was doing and looks confused. Oh, for the Dame Commander?
Yeah.
Do you don't have an appointment on? I don't see it on my thing or anything like that.
Look, I'm not great at making appointments before time. I was just hoping, something pop into my head and I wanted to see her, if that's possible.
Okay, I will go see if she's free. You're Wynn, right?
I'm Wynn, yeah.
Okay. He gets up from his desk and heads back into the hallways, and relatively quickly he returns. Look, I'm as shocked as you are. Lady Marin will see you now, Miss Wynn. And
Sweet.
You are led back towards Marin's office. There's a lot of rooms back here, and once you pass the main office that you all go into to get your mission, you realize that you've never actually been to or seen any of the other rooms that you're passing.
This place is big.
Yes, it's big. But you are led to the back of the building, and the receptionist opens the door into Marin's office. The office itself is quite nice, with a very gorgeous view of the larger city behind it, and it's decorated with all manner of little, knickknacks and such, maps, banners, medals, stuff like that. And behind the large desk in the room is Marin, just kind of sitting there eating a sandwich. She speaks up. This better not be a meeting or a heart-to-heart. I don't do either of those.
Not exactly. You mentioned while we were back in stay that Arle's star was gone. And I wanted to talk to you about that.
Marin takes a long look at her lunch and with a sigh sets the sandwich down. Yeah. I talked to Darmé about it last night, and I talked to Kasira about it, and we're not concerned. One less star is not a thing that makes people happy, and we can't just tell them it's it'll be back. People aren't gonna buy that. So
yeah,
we're looking into it.
And I mean, can't help but think that, killing her dream and crushing her spirit, as it were, might have something to do with that.
Yeah. What are you asking me here?
I'm asking, do we have any leads on where it went? On what happened to the magic, the energy that was in that star? I mean, it was gone. It was there for, she died. It was there. We went to stay. Now it's gone. Something happened to that energy.
Let me cut you off. I appreciate the concern. I appreciate the everything. But I'm gonna level with you. I'm fucking shit at this. I was never supposed to do all this, be a guild leader, handle, national relations and all that. I have solved the vast majority of the problems in my life by punching them. The best thing about me and every single person that started the guild with us was that when we all knew when to lean on each other, and we all knew when to let someone else handle a problem that we weren't qualified to handle. And she pauses, looking at something on her desk, and she kind of drifts off from her sentence. And then she wraps her hands on the desk. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure out what the problem is, and we're gonna be the ones that people can rely on to solve it. She suddenly hops up from her seat. Wanna go do some hero stuff?
Let's go do some fucking hero stuff.
She heads out into the hallway, down a few doors, and she knocks on another door, opening the door before waiting for a response. And you find yourselves in yet another office.
Ooh.
And sat on the couch is Darme Ondal, face in a book, who looks up rather startled as you enter, and honestly more annoyed than startled. Okay, I guess closed doors were a suggestion. Oops. Marin, don't be annoying. Okay, Darme, I need you to do your astral projection thingy for me and Win. And Darme looks lost at the suggestion. And Marin proceeds to explain the conversation you just had and the situation with Arle Star, and the sorceress nods at the idea. Well, I mean, sure we can. You don't have the best track record with... Don't make me say it. And Marin kind of snaps, just do the thing. And Darme sighs, extending her hands, and those glowing orbs that rest in the high parts of her office turn dark, and the whole room seems to change as if it were nighttime, but just inside of here.
Ooh.
Okay. Close your eyes. Let your mind go blank. And as you close your eyes, you feel a pressure against the front of your forehead. And in a moment, it's like you just dove into water. You feel that pressure and weight around you. And when you open your eyes, you are elsewhere.
Oh.
And it's not a place you've been to, but it has an inherent familiarity to it. When you are now on a ship at sea.
Oh, hell yeah. I feel at home on a ship. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been on a ship, but, I grew up here, so it feels nice.
What about that tiny boat we rode away from the pirates?
Yeah, that absolutely counts.
That was the pride of the sea. You'll find no better vessel.
But while you do feel, home on a boat or a ship, this is not just a regular ass ship, nor is it a regular ass sea. Around you,
T-Pain is there with the Lonely Islands singing about the boat.
You have to take a second and take a good hard look at the boat, but God damn it. But around you, T-Pain is there. Around you, everything from the ship to the sea is to the transparent outlines of people across the deck that look to be like crew are made of what looks like starlight.
Oh.
Like the night sky was basically pulled into shapes of things.
Mm-hmm.
And Darme is also here on the boat with you, looking mostly like herself, but almost like a desaturated by the pale color of starlight. Well, I've never seen it be a boat before.
It?
This is... Well, think of it like this. I took you out of your body, and now we're sort of inside of magic. Lady Kassira thinks this is a plane that exists inside the hearth. Lord Braemire would say that we're in the realm of the gods. This is the problem when it appears different to different people.
It's Kingdom Hearts.
But for you, it's a boat. A ship? I don't know.
Either one.
For Marin, it was... And Darme pauses to look at Marin here within this boat star realm thing, who is stood still on the deck of the boat with you both, but eyes closed and arms folded. And you notice while pretty much everything on the boat here is solid within this like starry place, like it's, it's like half transparent, but it's still solid. Marin seems to like fade in and out of reality here, almost like jittering back and forth, and, like blinking in and out of place. Darme looks at you and like makes a face, but the expression is kind of hardly intelligible with how weird it all looks. Also, now you're realizing that having tusks in the middle of your face kind of makes it hard to emote. Darme speaks. Marin, you know you have to open your eyes, otherwise I can't. I know. Just give me a second, and I'm gonna do it. Just 1 second. And you wait for a few seconds, and she's just kind of standing there. Marin, this does take a lot of energy to keep up. We literally don't have all day. Darme, just give me a second. Marin snaps and opens her eyes, and her form turns solid like the rest of you for a second. And the instant that Marin does that, the boat begins to move.
Oh, hell yeah.
Rain dumps from the sky, waves crashing against the ship, and send basically everyone, even yourself, reeling. And the ship goes from calmly sailing on placid waters to the middle of a raging storm. The crew, so to speak, of the ship scrambles around and as waves batter the sides of the ship and the deck tips from side to side. Darme sort of like trying to find footing and now realizing that high heels was a bad choice today.
I think I'm instantly like, do not need to find footing. I've been through this.
Hold on to something, Marin. Breathe. Calm down. Win. Okay, this is your magic working against you. You need to bring the storm down. Win, can I have an Arcana check?
You certainly can. Oh, that's a 9.
You attempt to concentrate. You attempt to sort of like, reel in your magic. And just like with keeping any spell up, right? Like using concentration. But this time trying to wrangle all of it, it's just fucking hard. There's a lot going on. Marin tries to step forward and grab onto you, or Darme, or something, and in a moment, a wave sweeps across the side of the ship, and Marin is swept off of the deck, along with large portions of the crew.
Oh, shit.
No.
Fuck. You hear from Darme, who is now like stumbling about trying to find footing, and whoever was steering the ship was swept away with Marin. And now the wheel is spinning wildly from side to side, jostling the ship even more.
Sprinting to the wheel.
Before Darme can even call to grab the wheel, you're already going. Win. I need an Arcana and Athletics check combined.
Athletics. All right, I'm proficient in both of these, but I only have a 2 in Athletics. Ooh, that's a nat 20 on the Arcana.
Okay.
That's a 24. And then for Athletics, that's a 10. So total, it's 34.
34. Okay, yeah. You start to move towards the wheel of the ship, and it's like nature. turtle nature, I guess, as opposed to human nature. As you move across, give me a shell, yeah. As you move across the rocking deck of the ship, and it just comes back to you like your sailing days. You can feel the ship beneath your feet and the motion of the water, and like you move with it when you can, and step carefully when you can't. And you move to grasp the wheel, pulling it tight and holding it as best you can. And you aim the bow of the boat for the crest of the wave to sort of like break the crash. And you do that. You plunge the boat star ship into the wave, and a huge like torrent of water washes across the deck. And it just seems like endless, like just water pressure smacking you in the face repeatedly. But eventually, it does cease, and you hear birds. And opening your eyes, the boat floats calmly on what are now placid waters again. And the storm above is gone, along with everyone else on the boat. Everyone except for one person. Stood center of the deck, you look, and Win, that is Arale.
Oh, shit. I thought you were going to say Darby.
Sam!
Fuck, okay. Center of the deck.
She turns to you, and you notice that this is not Arale as you saw her either in her coffin or in the dream. This is like that very first memory you saw of her in Stay, where she was a bit younger, in her, late prime, so to speak. And she turns to you. You look familiar.
I mean, so do you. We kind of double killed you. me and my friends. I mean,
You ever seen
long
Zombie
story.
Land? We did the double tap thing, Like, you were already dead. We just gave you another one just to be sure.
You were.
Okay.
Long story, but you were kind of tormenting the island of Stay in your death, so.
Right. I do know you. That's it. That's you. You killed my dream.
I sure did.
Awkward.
I'm not gonna say sorry about it because it had to be done.
Awkward turtle, anybody? Am I right?
God.
I understand that you wanted to save people. I get that. I wanted to do that too. But I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help you when you've already ruined everything I worked so fucking hard for hundreds of years.
You ruined that yourself.
Arale is starting to get angry, and as she is like picking up the pace of her words, the boat is beginning to shake and rock a little bit, and she extends her hands to the side and her eyes light with magic. The boat rumbles, and from beneath the water, large fins and tentacles emerge from around the boat. And in a thunderous crash against the boat, you are crushed beneath some manner of Leviathan, some beast. And you are swept down into sea, deep, deep beneath the weight of the water. And you float for what feels like a long, long time. Conscious, but immobilized, not enough energy to move. But eventually, you feel something take you by the hand, and you are being pulled. Not like but like something is yanking you sort of roughly towards the surface of the water. When you are dragged ashore somewhere, and your vision is cloudy and dark after being tossed around and nearly drowned. I did check, turtles can drown. But you are pulled onto a beach, water still rushing against your lower body, and next to you, sat in the sand, also drenched, you see sat there is Arale.
God.
But not the Arale you knew, not the Arale you met even moments ago. This is a much younger looking Arale. This looks like the same Arale that was at the memory of beating the Sky Eater.
Oh.
This is Arale in her youth.
Yeah.
Oops, all Arles.
Does there happen to be a giant skull of the Sky Eater in the
And
ocean?
she chokes out wind.
Ah, damn it.
Congratulations.
I believe that is 2 sessions in a row that we've referenced End of Evangelion. Yeah.
Good.
It's right
And-
there. What was I supposed to do? Let that moment pass? No.
And the younger version of RLA looks to you, breathing a bit heavy as she like shakes some of the water from herself. And you hear her say, "That was really stupid of you." And then you wake up with a start, like a gasp of breath
no.
leaving your mouth as you awake back in Darmay's office, with both the Echelor and Marin staring at you with a mix of like concern and shock. And Darmay speaks. "Holy fucking Cheryl. You stayed in there without me." Darmay says, like, dumbfounded, like you've just fucking divided by 0. Did something happen? Do you feel different?
Well,
Win. Something
Yeah.
about you has changed.
uh-huh.
And you have unlocked some new magic, which we'll talk about in the level up section.
Ooh.
And-
Spoilers! Win is multi-classing.
Whoa! I did not expect that.
No, I didn't expect that either.
And something Win didn't expect. Win!
Ooh.
You've also learned a special spell, Commune with the Stars.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
I'm happy to hear that.
With the help of a more powerful magic user than yourself, you can commune with the magic of the stars in order to glean information and increase your magical attunement with your new class. Additionally, on long rests, you may also attempt to cast this spell on your own to possibly establish a connection with those same magical sources and possibly gain additional insight.
Hell yeah.
And Win section is about 1,000 words longer than everybody else, so we're gonna segue away there. We're gonna segue away there with you talking with Darmay and Marin about what that whole thing was.
Yeah.
I have Alistair, Chiron, and Ash remaining. Who wants to go?
Doesn't matter.
You take it, Kara.
It's time.
It's time.
Chiron, you die.
No!
Chiron sees a therapist about his crippling fear of death.
He buys a new mask. Retail therapy.
Chiron,
Yep.
for you, you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. Or maybe more accurately, the wrong place at the wrong time. Kind of depends who you ask in this situation. You're walking by the main entrance of the guild when it happens. A burst of light flashes across the room, and in an instant, some manner of portal opens, and rushing through it are 3 people. An elven man is helping to carry a wounded tiefling through, and some kind of sorcerer whose robes are like coated in mud and what appears to be blood whips a spell back through the portal before closing the magical doorway down and is like collapsing to the floor himself.
That's sick as fuck.
The elven man cries out, "Medic, get a fucking healer!" setting the tiefling down onto the floor and like falling to the ground himself, yanking some sort of long bladed weapon out of his stomach and tossing it to the floor with a clatter. But from the tiefling that is now laying on the ground, light is erupting out, like bursts of magic. A hand and arm made of like the shining golden light extends out and swings at the man that just carried them through, catching him across the jaw and like knocking him over. The woman herself lays still, but out of her body, magic is bolting in the shapes of like limbs and body parts, and it's like actively combative at things that are nearby it. Yeah, go ahead.
I rush over there. I mean, quick movement. Kind of like walk and still get there probably at a fast pace is the crazy part about me. So I'll kind of like compose myself and get over there.
So, you know, we're in, you know, the Guild of Heroes. Several people rush over to help, just like you do. And almost every single person is like knocked away by the whatever the hell that is. That like basically golden image of a person that is battling people off. Let me get an athletics check.
Natural 20.
Whoa!
Oh, baby!
Hell yeah!
Which is still just a 20. I actually don't have good athletics.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's got
Acrobatics. +7 acrobatics.
Okay.
Yes, that's true.
And that 20 is still better than the Ganda. Chiron, you rush forward using your speed to sort of like get around the swinging limbs and like arcing magic. And as other people are like shoved back and like struck, you like use that as an opening to move into that spot and get closer to the source of the magic. That source being the lady just sort of laying there in the center of it.
Okay.
And she is like unconscious, but like stirring a little bit, like she's sleeping or trying to wake up or something like that. And this golden magic's like swirling around you. What would you like attempt to do in this situation?
Everybody else is still getting pushed back, but I'm still just able to like hold past.
No one else is like able to get there, and you can't like stay still. You have to like keep ducking and weaving. But like the fact that it's pushing other people away, you are using basically to like make sure you can stay close.
But I did get up to the body, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're basically like moving around it like now, but you're in like, you know, you could like grab distance.
Okay, I will reach out and grab it, and I'll be like, I must see this. Stay back, everybody. I've got this. Don't get hurt more. This is my duty.
You try to like put your hands on the person on the ground, and that golden spirit thing like retreats, like it jolts back to get in between you and the tiefling, the laying down person. And it's like as you push your hands forward, it is like pushing against you, and it's trying to stop you, but in doing this, it's not able to like, you know, combat everyone else that's trying to get close to you. And while you basically wrestle with whatever this is, you hear, "Mask guy, duck!" And the elven man who came through the portal has pulled some sort of crystal tech like revolver from his coat and is in mid loading the device. He aims and fires, and the bullet splits like just inches from your head and expands in the air into some kind of magical bolt, which strikes the spirit ghost energy thing. And in your hands, basically against you as you're fighting it, it sort of calms and moves less wildly, and you're able to actually get like what feels like a grip on it. Can I have another athletics check?
I got 18.
Ooh.
You're able to like I said, get a grip on this thing, but even more so, you're able to like start to push it, and like your hands are moving forward, and you realize that you've managed to hold on to it, and it's settling into a more corporeal form. Now, whereas it was like a hand here and a leg there, kicking and punching at anything that was nearby, it's now like forming into what looks like some kind of humanoid spirit thing, and you sort of have it by the shoulders, and you are pushing it, and it seems to like fade and flicker a little bit as you push it back towards the tiefling woman.
Is it still resisting?
Yes, it's like actively fighting you.
But
like
is it? Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna use like kind of like if I can reach forward one of my injections, I'll inject it and cast stunning strike on it and put a key point to it, just to try to stop it from moving. It's not gonna do anything, but it sounds cool as fuck for flavor.
Okay, so
just stop resisting.
So you go to like, you know, I'm assuming like you have like an Assassin's Creed-esque like trigger that you can like immediately like, you know, inject with. You inject it as if you're going to stunning strike it, and you know the syringe pushes forward, and it connects with what would be a person if this thing was corporeal, and obviously it doesn't. You know, the poison doesn't go because it's nothing. It's not meeting anything in reality, but the spirit reacts as if it did get injected by this. And it sort of like wriggles and writhes and like freaks out against you. Can I have a mix check, medicine and arcana?
I got an 18 for medicine, and arcana I got a 7.
Okay. You push the magical shape forward, and you feel yourself almost like guiding it in a direction. You hit like walls and resistance, you have to like move and kind of wrangle it, but then with one mighty shove, the sensation feels like setting a bone to you. You basically have to like shove this spirit back into the young tiefling woman, and with a burst of magic, you feel that force stop battling against you, and it settles down. Before one final spark of magic pulses up through her chest and strikes you in the stomach like a sucker punch, knocking you like over into the side a bit. You take 24 force damage.
Jesus God.
Jeez.
And then finally, it begins to calm. Other heroes are able to make it to the scene now that you have subdued whatever that was, helping each other up, and the medical staff come out, helping the other wounded heroes onto stretchers and shit. You are brought along with the rest of the wounded to the infirmary. Chiron, when you are injured, do you permit a magical healer to come over and lay hands, or do you prefer to take care of yourself via non-magical traditional medicine?
I typically try to cure myself if possible. If I'm a conscious, which in this case I am, so I'd probably look over myself and address whatever needs to be done.
You notice, so I'm assuming you take yourself into a place in the infirmary where no one's going to see you mess with your wrappings and shit. And you notice that where the magic struck you, it seems like it's almost been burned. In your medical opinion, it's something that ointment and rest would get you back to full HP. But it's it's noticeable that that is a singe, a deep heat had hit you. While you're patching up, that elven man from the mini battle thing ambles over, clutching his own stomach as he moves. Hey, mask guy, appreciate you and your spirit wrestling abilities.
Please do not dawdle too long here. You cannot see my natural form.
Yeah, look, that's great. He extends a hand going for a handshake. Errol Mar, he introduces himself.
I put a handkerchief in between me, shaking it, because I assume that's still potentially my unbandaged hand, and then I shake it in between there.
Yeah, he has a glove, but still that's thing you still do that. That problem over there, he gestures to the tiefling woman who's laying knocked out in the infirmary bed. And while she was twitching and convulsing before, she's just out cold now. That's my pal Roa Bell. She's not usually like that.
Do you mind if I, and I mean this in the kindest way possible, analyze her?
Oh, you mean because of that thing?
Well, no, not just because of that, because I need to do it.
Are you a doctor or something, or is this just a weird sex thing?
You have to trust me. If anything, I saved her, I helped her. I think it's something I'm owed.
Don't word it like that.
Eight in charisma, guys.
Jesus.
The elf leans onto the bed that you're both next to. I mean, you can ask her. I wouldn't want to be there when she wakes up if you're investigating her and shit. I feel like she's not gonna react positively to that.
Nobody ever does.
Yeah. We also.
Jesus.
Chiron's a serial investigator.
We also don't fully know what that whole spirit thing is, but helps speed up the bad guys. But it's also never done that before. So let me ask them real quick. How did you do that? How'd you get it to go back into Roa?
Look, I've had to work and shape my body into perfection as much as I can, and I just reached as far as I could. And actually, ever since I hit that dream, I've been able to interact with some sort of magical, essence. Ever since I just got back from there, my body feels a little bit weirder, lighter. So, I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I could. It's not repeatable.
Huh. But you were able to hold it and stuff, touch it physically?
Yes.
Wild. Well, okay. Thank you. If you ever need a hand or a gun, I guess, holler. If you wanna, do your doctor shit, you're welcome to ask her when she wakes up. But I will say, if you go near my friend while they are incapacitated, I will shoot you in the back with a gun.
I'll dodge it.
Just casually, nothing. Zero pause.
He's like dumbfounded at that. He goes, "You're either the most insane guy I've met today, or the ballsiest guy I've met today, and those are not mutually exclusive."
Fine, I will wait. I got some things I need to address in terms of my own damages. And
Yeah, you do.
I will wait.
I appreciate that. It's common courtesy, but I still appreciate it. Real quick, shout out to patrons Tasty Mar Bar for the name Mar, and then Croissant for the name Roa.
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
Chiron,
Yes.
after a while, you get back to full strength. This is the part of the whole thing where it's like this rest is over multiple days, doesn't matter. But once all healed up from your blast of like light magic, you notice that you have gained HP. Like 4 permanent HP.
Oh.
Oh.
Let me add that to my notes.
And with that, I have Alistair and Ash remaining.
I'll go.
Cool.
Ash,
Yep.
your message comes at nighttime, and it comes repeatedly. Your callstone is flashing and humming, illuminating your dim room in flashes of like blue magical light. This will work fine.
Is it all eggplants?
A message repeatedly lights across the screen. It says "you up."
Yeah, I'm gonna head over and see what that's about.
The message reads, "We need to meet," and then after a minute or so, the words fade, and then like almost instantly they build back in. "We need to meet."
All right. I will send back. I will send back. Where?
The answer you receive.
I also write at guild. Just so she knows where I currently am.
The answer you receive is a location name, and it's one you actually know: the Hearth Home Tavern.
Oh, okay.
You make your way across the city under the cover of night, and actually, wait, I should ask for you before that. Do you want to do anything?
I would just write back on my way.
Yeah, so you make your way across the city under the cover of night, and on your way towards the tavern, you cross out of the guild district and into a district that is mostly associated with the Mages College, and of course, the Hearth itself. The college is literally built around the Hearth, so it's, the same area. And this area is familiar to you, as is pretty much the world capital for anything magical. And like when you would have worked in the city doing magical study, you would have done it here. But as you move closer to the tavern, can I have a perception check?
Sure. Perception, wisdom. I only rolled a 7.
You are suddenly pulled to the side as you pass a small alleyway, and you hear a shh as you are ushered down deep into the alley and into a small space against a building. The person who pulled you into the alley places the hand on the pommel of their sword, and it lights as a spell is cast. Around both of your feet, a magical ring forms, and in the light of that spell, you get a good look at the person, and that is Taya Flare.
Hey.
Okay, my hand was on my dagger. My hand is no longer on my dagger.
The Shatter Guard Adenate you met in Bright Harbor. Can I have a charisma saving throw from our sorcerer?
Oh yeah, sure.
Charisma saving throw to be smitten.
Auga.
I rolled a 10 on that.
You feel the effect of the spell hit you, and instantly you know what it is. She has cast Zone
I was
of
gonna say, did
Truth,
she cast Zone of Truth? Yeah!
Oh yeah!
and it has taken effect. You that's something you know about Zone of Truth when it happens.
All right.
All right. All right, that'll have to do. We must speak quickly. I don't have much time. Who have you told about the crystal you found in Bright Harbor?
Oh shit. Are you referring to the scrying stone? Oh, I guess I also have the shard from Jones.
And you remember, you gave her the rest of that.
You're right. I mean, I guess I'm legitimately asking.
Sorry,
which
yeah.
I have two fancy magical items I got from there.
That's good. The crystal you gave me. Who did you tell about it?
God, did I report that to the guild? I think I did.
You did not.
I didn't?
Wow.
No, you told
good
me.
on you.
No, you
Ash.
didn't.
So sorry. I'm mistaken. You did tell them about it. You did not tell anyone, including her, that you pocketed a piece of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I included information about it in the report I gave to the guild upon returning from Bright Harbor.
Okay, listen to me. This is important, and I won't be able to repeat it. Someone within the Shadow Guard does not want anyone to know about that crystal. And she looks over her shoulder, like repeatedly. She's very cagey. Much more so than like the, relatively even-tempered guard that you met in Bright Harbor.
Yes.
My report has gone missing, and the clerks in the evidence vault claim I never brought them anything of the sort. They deleted the entry from the records. I had a feeling, I don't know why or how, but I didn't trust it from the start. She reaches into her cloak and produces a single shard of that broken crystal, just like the one that you kept for yourself.
Oh, shit.
I cannot keep this. They'll find it if I do. I need you to get this to someone, anyone who you can trust to find out what it is. And she immediately pushes it into your hand and wraps your hand around it.
Taya, what is going on?
I'm not sure. I can't trust the guard. Someone is already trying to pretend this never existed. And if I can't trust the Heroes Guild, well then suffice to say that we're already fucked. There's a noise somewhere nearby, the sound of metal armor moving, and Taya practically jumps out of her skin. I don't know who you can trust, but don't trust the guard. And if you see me again, do not trust me, Ashba. And with that, she taps the crystal pommel of her sword and misty steps out of the alleyway.
That was sick as fuck.
That's fucking awesome.
Ash, with you stood in a darkened alley, holding what is almost certainly stolen evidence. What the fuck do you do?
I am going to pocket that.
Oh wow.
And I am going to. I don't have really anything interesting I can do here. I am going to very cautiously make my way back to my quarters.
Can I am very cautious. Can I have an act natural check? Can I have a stealth check with advantage?
Okay, I nat 20'd one of those.
Whoa, everybody's
Excellent.
getting that 20s
Hell
this
yeah.
week.
Really?
As you exit the alleyway, you're walking, whistling, hands in the pockets, acting cool. You see that down the road a little bit, where the Hearth Home Tavern is, the one you were supposed to be at originally, there are several Shadow Guard entering that building. And in general, so the way the city works is that it's, divided into the different guilds, and like they cross. It's not like there's, tension, but it is odd to see a lot of Shadow Guards suddenly in the area of the Mages College, and it's also weird to see that many of them around this time of night. But despite the higher Shadow Guard presence, you just kind of move along your way, and eventually you return to the guild and your quarters.
All right. I am going to cast the level 1 spell Alarm.
Okay.
Nice.
Tell the folks
How many entrances are there in my room? Is there a door or a window or just a door?
Door and a window.
All right. What floor am I on?
Third, I believe.
Okay, I'm going to cast Alarm by the door then. You set an alarm against unwanted intrusion. Choose a door, a window, or an area within range that is no larger than a 20-foot cube. Until the spell ends, an alarm alerts you whenever a tiny or larger creature touches or enters the warded area. When you cast the spell, you can designate creatures that won't set off the alarm. You can choose whether the alarm is mental or audible. A mental alarm alerts you with a ping in your mind if you are within 1 mile of the warded area. This ping awakens you if you are sleeping. So I'm going to send a mental alarm on my door.
Okay. You succeed in doing this. Nothing like, you cast the spell.
The door,
and it
the
works.
door has to roll a wisdom saving throw.
No one like anti-magic my room while I was gone. Good.
No, yeah, exactly. So yeah, you managed to alarm your room successfully.
All right.
Do you want to do anything with the crystal?
I guess all I want to do at this point is just compare it and make sure there's no obvious differences between the two shards I have.
Okay. So I'm gonna say you take out both crystals and you take it, back to basics. Just the most standard and cursory tests any crystal mage would run to make sure a crystal, works, stuff like that. And when you mess with them by themselves, they are similar, very similar. I mean, they're basically identical. They're just, two shards of one same thing. But they're just kind of nothing. In fact, it's less than nothing. These don't even react like any crystal. They react like you're trying to put magic into a regular ass rock, and unsurprisingly, nothing fucking happens.
All right. I mean, I don't know if there's any much more I want to do at this moment. Besides, obviously, taking my notes.
As you are sitting there, sort of messing with the crystals, but you setting them aside, taking your notes, writing your thing. At one point, you put them both on the desk, just an inch or two apart. And you look away, and when you look back, they are slowly inching towards one another.
Oh, okay, now I'm focused.
And just over time, it's the slightest, tiniest bit, moving what would be real life millimeters at a time. They are jittering towards one another.
I place something else metal nearby to make sure it's not an issue of magnetism.
Are you placing it on one side of them or in between them?
On one side of them. I guess I form a triangle about by 3 objects, 2 of them, and then a third thing, above them. I form a triangle. I just again, if I have a coin or just something metal.
Right. Yeah.
A coin.
You just take one gold piece, put it above the 2, and they continue on their path towards each other, but at no point make movement up to meet the coin.
All right. Crossing out the word magnetize with a question mark in my notebook.
They are nearly touching each other at this point. Do you attempt to stop them?
Oh no. We gotta see where this goes.
Explosion. Oppenheimer now in theaters.
Worth it. That's science, baby.
The 2 pieces of crystal tap against each other, and with just the slightest little latent magical buzz, a spark, they snap together, and a little crack of blue and red energy, the 2 shards fuse and smooth out a bit. Ash, they are now one crystal, perfectly melded together. Ooh. No cracks or fissure lines or breaking points, anything like that. Were you not looking at them just seconds ago, you would assume that this was always one crystal because it is perfectly formed, but obviously that's not the case as you just watched them fuse together.
About how big is it? I mean, it's still pretty small at this point, right? Just because these 2.
Right, it was this 2 pencil widths, obviously smaller than this, and now it's one solid thing.
Okay.
So it's about the size of a T20.
Yeah, but it's long and thin.
Yeah, right.
That's what she said.
Roll a Arcana or Investigation check. Whichever one you think would make Ash would do as a scientist.
I mean, with it being crystal, I'm going to do Arcana.
Right.
That's a 21.
Whew. Oh, okay. So your proficiency with magical crystals tells you that, just upon, inspecting this newly formed crystal, this thing is unstable. it's almost like shaking and bouncing around within the confines of the crystal, like the magic inside. Whatever is going on in there, it's volatile. But where 90% of crystals would shatter the second you overfill them with magic, this one, despite being clearly like overfilled, remains whole. Ash, you now have a strange purple crystal.
It gets you nothing.
You can tell this thing is charged with some kind of unknown magic, but are unable to tell exactly what that means at this point.
Oh, hell yeah!
And
All
the
right.
only other crystal we've seen get like supercharged with magic and not blow up was the seed, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Quick, Ash, kill a familiar. See what happens.
That will hold us on Ash.
All right.
And we will
Spicy.
go, lastly, to Alistair.
That's me.
We get different music for Alistair?
Yes, because it doesn't make sense to be spooky right now. I mean, I guess it wouldn't. Yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Alistair,
Yeah,
it's the morning,
sure is.
and it's honestly too fucking early when you get a knock at your door, and then after a few moments, another knock. But before you can even make your way to the door, a note is slipped under, and you hear footsteps receding down the hall.
I mean,
Oh god, it's another. Oh god, it's another paternity suit.
that's good.
I
No.
can't get enough of this guy.
Alistair drags himself from bed and checks what the note is. Just in case he has to try and dash after this person, because it's never a good thing when somebody slides the letter under your door.
The note reads, Alistair, please make your way to Lord Arnaud Vessler's office on the first floor at your earliest convenience this morning. Written on like fancy guild parchment that is honestly way too nice for a note that is crammed underneath a door.
Yeah. Okay, Alistair takes he gets a nice hot shower, he goes to the cafeteria, gets a full lunch.
Wait, lunch, it's morning!
Oh, well, brunch.
Full breakfast.
He gets a brunch.
A brunch.
Really taking fucking...
They said at your earliest convenience!
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The word other
He's
convenience
taking
so far.
liberties!
Much like you're heading towards the main office of the guild, you head on down. But this time you turn off earlier, like when directed by the receptionist, and find yourself down a hallway and in front of a door marked with a metal plate and the words Lord Administrator.
Mm-hmm.
Do you knock or do you just go in?
Yeah, no, I'll knock.
You hear, like, you knock, and from behind the door you hear, "Oh, do come in." You hear Vessler call as you enter the room to see just a fucking ocean of books, scrolls, letters, and various items that sit in relatively unorganized stacks and piles all over the room. Much like Vessler's desk in the office, in here is the whole office is some manner of organized chaos, but it just looks like fucking chaos.
Cool. Love what you've done with the place.
The young nobleman appears from behind a bookshelf, holding a few items as he makes his way towards his desk. Ah, Alistair, lovely. Please sit. Just move those. He speaks, gesturing to the seat across from his desk, which is also covered in like various pieces of like correspondence and books and shit.
I pick them up, but like put them down, letting go of them like a couple of feet off the floor, so they clatter a little bit, you know.
He makes a face at that. Yes, apologies for the mess, he adds, like, while taking his seat. No one really did tell me running the guild would be such a mess. Or so expensive.
Bureaucracy, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's a real bitch.
Mm-hmm.
He, like, mutters that while, like, looking through a stack of letters before producing one and placing it on the desk before you both.
So I've heard.
Now, Alistair, well, I suppose for the purposes of this meeting, Lord Alistair Crestbreeze. He speaks with a neutral expression, unfolding the letter and looking it over again. I am no stranger to people who adopt last names such as yours, noble drifter. In a way, I quite like the whole notion. Go off and pursue your dreams without, dragging your family name into your affairs should they be less than great. But I suppose there are always downsides. I have a letter here from your father.
Oh.
Spicy.
The Baron Carl Crestbreeze. Name credit to our lovely longtime patron, Baron!
Oh,
yeah.
Baron's my dad. Okay. That's good. That's good.
We get Alistair's original last name.
No, as soon as my last name is dropped, I mean, Alistair turns an even whiter shade of pale than he naturally is.
Yes, I've gotten a letter here from your father. Here, take a look if you like. He knows, like, passing the letter across the table. It's rather plain, and we have gotten letters like this before, of course, across other heroes and the like. In short, your father has requested, quite officially, that I revoke your title as Hero of the Empire and have you returned home, which is something, unfortunately, that is very much within my job description.
Excuse me, Lord Vessler, what the fuck? This isn't something you're actually considering. I mean, of course, my father has the purse strings to pull something like this, but I mean, come on. I've been on 2 official missions. Hell, we just fucking beat Arle.
While, generally speaking, of the 3 of them, Vessler is the most amicable. Marin is kind of grumpy and old, and Darmay is just kind of grumpy. Vessler, normally speaking, tries to be the lightest hearted of the 3, and, you know, doesn't necessarily do great at that, but tries. But currently his face is pretty dead serious. Now, there are several ways to proceed here, but before I say anything, to have you think one way or another, Alistair, answer me this. Do you want this? Do you actually want to be a hero, or are you just here until you get bored of it and move on to another distraction and diversion while running from whatever there is going on between you and your father?
How? At the risk of sounding like the privileged child that I am, how fucking dare you? After all I've been through with the guild, at this point you pull this on me and ask, do you really want this? Yes! Yes! A triple time yes! I've been out there in the field doing things that I would never do. And did I love it at first? No, but my god. This is where I belong. Doing this with God forbid I say it, these people. They're great and they're doing good things here.
Vessler nods, his hand moving to an inkwell and filling the lid of the ink pot while he speaks. Okay, let me ask you one more thing then. Why do you want to be a hero?
At first, it was to be there when great things happened, and sure, somebody had to write the songs that would be sung. And hey, if I was there and my name was in the credits, or hell, even a better part, the chorus, then great. But it's not entirely about that anymore. It's for the people. I mean, I think in Bright Harbor we did the right thing and stopped a horrible criminal. And in stay, I mean, pardon my French, but we saved the fucking world a little bit. Debatably.
Vessler smiles at your answer and nods along. You know, when I first got this job, I'll admit it was out of pity, sympathy. I hated it. I really wanted to be a captain, the Imperial Navy. It was something I thought I could do as a child, and obvious reasons aside, not really an option. And when I got this job, I was like, great. Something to do, something to be given to do while my brother takes, over at home, and my other brother joins the military. Great, lovely. I get to sit and do paperwork. But what we do here is important, Alistair. And we get a lot of people who think that it's important until they're here. And then the moment they are here, they decide it doesn't matter. The reason for doing this doesn't matter anymore. They do it because they are already here, and that's just what they'll do until they decide they won't anymore. I think very few people that come into our guild actually end up caring about being heroes even a month in. But let me explain what's going to happen. What I'm going to do what I do here slowly. First, I will take my sweet time and then deny your father's request with all the formality and heraldry I can fit onto a piece of paper. He will reply, likely unpleased with me, and then I will forget to respond.
Loves that.
He's smiling along with you now. And then he will write a letter to the Emperor, claiming offense and demanding the Imperial family intercede and remove you, and likely me, from the guild. The Emperor will, of course, never see this letter, but the Crown Prince will, and he will come down here, and we will go back and forth about if it's worth making a fuss over just one hero, pissing off another noble family, so forth and so on. And eventually the Prince and I will come to an agreement, and he will see my side, or he will tell me to fuck off, and you will be removed. So, here is what I need from you, Alistair. I need to prove that you are, in fact, worth making this fuss over. And that you, like every person that actually wants to be in this building, is worth fighting for, so you can fight for everyone else in the Empire.
You need me to keep my grades up.
I need you to go out there, do hero things, save people, beat up the bad guys, and I will buy you time from here. You save the world, I do the paperwork.
Okay. Lord Vessler, this is something I can do. Do you know when we'll be assigned something next?
We will get you something rather soon. I understand that this is sort of the complexity of it. You're on a clock you can't see, with no control over how quickly that clock moves or how quickly you can move against it. I don't pretend what I do is as useful as any talent Marin or Darme have, Alistair, but I do know neither of them have the patience to play the little noble game of letters and court appearances. But trust that I will do everything I can to give you as much time as possible. Just focus on your song. Focus on writing a song so fucking good that when people hear it, they think, I can't believe that stupid asshole made him come back and be a noble when he was so good at being a hero.
Done. I will write the greatest pop album of all time.
Eat your heart out, Michael Jackson.
Carly Rae Jepsen who?
See you in the Carly Rae Jepsen one shot.
Alistair's gonna write a motion too.
Which reminds me, he fumbles around his desk drawers, eventually producing a callstone. Notably larger and nicer looking than the small one you bought from Blackout Billy. For emergencies, or in the case you suddenly get ejected from the guild and we have to figure something out, I like to be ready to play all sides. Take this and call me maybe.
Wow,
Fuck
Chris!
you.
Wow. Sorry, I got distracted by the joke. Lord Vestar just offered me a callstone that's directly to him.
You now have a callstone that goes to Vestar.
Okay.
It's also worth noting this is like a nicer, flatter one. Think of it like phone size. You can fit probably a slightly bigger message on it than your regular callstone.
Okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
This is the kind that fuck you money can buy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, hey, everyone got to do a little intermission thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now we have to do the rest of it. So in the meantime, let's take a break.
Yay.